All right, Niners faithful, let's talk about what really went down. Forget the noise, forget the memes, forget that ugly scoreboard for a second. Let's actually talk about what this game meant. Because I've seen a lot of people online melting down after that loss, saying stuff like Houston sucks, we lost to a 2-4 team, or the season's over. And I get it. It's emotional. But come on, let's take a breath and really look at what happened. The first thing I keep coming back to is this. What's your takeaway from that game? Not the specific plays, not that one interception or a missed tackle. What's your big picture feeling walking away from it? Because everybody's got a bias. Some of you are so used to seeing injuries derail this team that it's all you can focus on. I get that. We've been burned by it too many times. But when I step back and look at the whole picture, this loss doesn't feel like a collapse. It feels like a reality check. Now, a lot of folks in the comments were calling for Brock Purdy and Ricky Parrall to come back, and that's absolutely fair. We missed them. Ricky was playing out of his mind before the injury, and it's crazy he's been out this long. Hopefully he's close. The reports said he was limited in practice, and that gives me a bit of hope. But knee injuries, man, they're tricky. You can't rush them. And Purdy? We know what he brings. That spark, that mobility, that calm under pressure. It's not that the guys filling in are bad, but you can see the difference. Now, let's clear something up. People saying the Texans are trash? That's just wrong. I know they look bad on Monday night against Seattle, but that doesn't mean they're a bad football team. They've actually got one of the best defenses in the league. Before this game, they had a plus 39-point differential, while the Niners were sitting 37 points behind that mark. So if you're out here saying, we lost to a garbage team, you're not paying attention. That Houston defense is legit. They make teams uncomfortable. They hit hard. They disrupt rhythm. Yeah, we look bad. No sugarcoating it. The offensive line was overwhelmed, the trenches were ugly, and the game flow just never clicked. But calling Houston a bad team is just lazy analysis. They're better than their record shows. C.J. Stroud didn't look like the same quarterback from last season. He looked more composed, made better decisions, and the Texans' pass protection was the best it's been all year. I watched that game and thought, this team isn't bad, they're building something. So yeah, we got beat, but it wasn't by a pushover. Now, I'll be real. Watching the Niners' offensive line try to hold up against a top-tier defensive front was painful. Every time we face a strong D-line, it's like deja vu. You can see the strain, the missed pickups, the lack of pocket stability. That's where games like this are lost, right there in the trenches. But the bright side? The injuries we took on Sunday don't appear to be long-term. That's massive, because the schedule ahead, finally, looks like it's breaking our way. Of the next 6 opponents, only one has a winning record. 4 of them have 2 wins or fewer. So, if there's ever a stretch to get healthy and recalibrate, this is it. And look, we're never going to be 100% healthy again this season. That ship sailed when we lost Fred Warner and Nick Bosa early. But guys like Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Parrall, and Brock Purdy could be coming back soon, and that's enough to stabilize things. I like him, Jones, I really do. He's a tough kid, plays with heart. But when you watch him get swallowed up in the pocket or hesitate on a scramble, you realize just how valuable a mobile quarterback like Purdy is in this system. He changes the tempo. He gives Kyle Shanahan's offense that rhythm it needs. Still, there were some bright spots, and I've got to give credit where it's due. Christian McCaffrey just joined an elite list, one of only a handful of players in franchise history to rack up 1,000 yards from scrimmage in the first 8 games of the season. Names like Roger Craig, Frank Gore, and Garrison Hurst are on that list. That's legendary company. And McCaffrey didn't stop there. He became the second fastest running back in NFL history to reach 5,000 receiving yards, right behind the great Marshall Faulk. That's not just impressive, that's special. Tatum Bethune also deserves some recognition. 14 tackles in a single game, the most by any Niner since Fred Warner's 15 against the Rams last season. Now, sure, he wasn't perfect. There were coverage breakdowns, some missed reads, but his energy was unreal. The guy was everywhere. The defense spent so much time on the field, and yet they kept grinding, kept holding Houston to field goals when they could have easily broken down completely. That shows heart, but the numbers don't lie. Houston ran up 475 total yards of offense. They had over 41 minutes of possession. That's brutal. The Niners are built to control time of possession, to wear teams down with long, methodical drives. When the tables turn and you're the one chasing the clock, it's not pretty. The defense gave up over 150 yards on the ground, more than 300 through the air, and 9 of 16 third down conversions. It honestly felt like 15 of 16. Every third down, no matter the distance, they found a way to convert. That's what killed us. That's what broke the game open. And once Stroud found his rhythm, it was game over. You could see it in his confidence. Every completion, every extended drive, it built momentum. And the Niners' defensive line, which is supposed to be the heartbeat of this team, just couldn't disrupt him. That's what brings us to this new discussion around what I'm calling bias toward action. Fans, analysts, everyone is saying the same thing. It's time to move. Time to act. The Niners can't sit around waiting for magic. They need to pick up the phone, make a call, bring in a body who can help right now. You look at the numbers, and it's obvious. The Niners are on pace for 19 sacks this season. 19. That's the same number Nick Bosa had by himself just a couple of years ago. That's not just a drop-off, that's a collapse. And with no Bosa, no Bryce Huff, the lack of pass rush has been glaring. Stroud completed over 76% of his passes against us. And this was without his top 2 receivers. That's unacceptable for a defense that prides itself on pressure and physicality. Manufacturing a pass rush didn't even help. Every time we sent an extra rusher, Houston found a way to counter it, like that 30-yard touchdown to Xavier Hutchinson. It wasn't even a busted play. They just executed better. That's what happens when your pass rush loses its bite. And now, the question is, who can help? Honestly, anyone. The team can't afford to be picky right now. They need depth. They need energy. They need someone who can get after the quarterback. Whether it's a trade for someone like Jermaine Johnson from the Jets, who already knows this defensive system, or even a reunion with someone like Arden Key, who played for us in 2021, it doesn't matter. They just need production. Because here's the truth. This roster isn't built to be patient. The championship window is right now. You can't waste it waiting for perfect scenarios. You don't give up premium draft capital, but you've got to be active, find those middle-tier players who can contribute right away. The offensive line still has holes, the left guard position is shaky, and the depth behind Trent Williams isn't solid enough for a deep playoff run. That's the harsh reality. So yeah, this wasn't a good game. It was sloppy, it was frustrating, and it exposed some serious weaknesses. But it also showed that this team still has fight. The defense didn't quit. McCaffrey keeps rewriting the record books, and the schedule ahead gives them room to reset, heal up, and get back to playing Niners football. The only question now is whether the front office shares that same bias toward action that the fans are screaming for. Here's what I keep thinking about after watching that mess of a game. This team still controls its own story. People are quick to jump ship after one ugly loss, but you've got to remember where the Niners have been these last few seasons. They've gone through injuries, losing streaks, quarterback chaos, and still found ways to fight back. What we saw against Houston wasn't the end of the line. It was a wake-up call. Sometimes you need to get punched in the mouth to realize where the weak spots are, and Sunday exposed plenty of them. The trenches were the heart of the problem. The offensive line looked lost at times. There were snaps where the protection just completely broke down, and you could see the frustration on the faces of the players. The rhythm of the offense depends on clean blocking, on timing, on trust, and none of that was there. That's why Brock Purdy being healthy matters so much. He's got the instincts to move, to extend plays, to make something happen when the pocket collapses. The backups have heart, but they're not the same kind of playmaker. You could see how limited the playbook felt without him. And look, the defense wasn't innocent either. They got worn out, plain and simple. 41 minutes on the field? That's brutal. You can't expect even the best unit in football to hold up when the offense keeps giving the ball back. They were tired, frustrated, trying to compensate for missed tackles and busted coverage. And yet, even then, they didn't fold. They kept fighting. That tells you a lot about the mentality in that locker room. There's still pride in that defense, even when they're not executing at their best. But if we're being honest, there's no excuse for a pass rush this quiet. 19 sacks on pace for the season. That's embarrassing for a team built around pressure. This defense was designed to live in the backfield, to make quarterbacks miserable, and right now, opposing QBs are way too comfortable. It's not just about missing Nick Bosa. It's about depth, about attitude, about urgency. The 49ers have always been at their best when they play angry, when they attack. Lately, it feels like they're reacting instead of dictating. That's got to change. There's also the mental side of it. You can feel the frustration seeping into the way they play. You see it on false starts, on blown coverages, on unnecessary penalties. That's not just bad execution. That's a team pressing too hard. When you lose games you expect to win, it's easy to spiral. But that's exactly where leaders like Fred Warner, George Kittle, and McCaffrey come in. These guys have been through this before. They know the season isn't over in Week 8. The great teams are the ones that can take a loss like that, study it, and come back sharper. The upcoming stretch of games gives them that chance. The schedule finally eases up, and that's when you have to pounce. You don't wait until December to find your rhythm. You start stacking wins now. Use this stretch to rebuild confidence, to test young players, to clean up those details that got exposed. The offensive line needs to gel. The secondary needs communication reps, and Shanahan needs to adjust his play calling to fit the guys he's got right now. There's no point in pretending you're at full strength. Play smart, play efficient, play to survive until you're healthy again. I also keep thinking about how much this team relies on McCaffrey. He's doing everything, running, catching, blocking, and carrying this offense on his back. At some point, the other skill players have to step up. Brandon Ayuk has that ability to be a game changer, and once he's fully healthy, you need to get him involved early and often. He changes how defenses play you. Without that kind of threat, defenses can just stack the box and make life miserable for McCaffrey. The Niners' identity is balance, and right now, that balance is gone. The good news? These problems are fixable. The team isn't broken, they're just battered. The bye week will help, the lighter opponents will help, and getting a few bodies back could be all it takes to stabilize. But it's got to start with the leadership. Shanahan has to get creative again. He's one of the best play designers in football, but when this team gets punched, his game plans sometimes go flat. That can't happen. Not with this roster, not with this window. It's time for the coaching staff to take ownership and find new ways to spark this group. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers have started swirling across the NFL grapevine, and the latest shocker involves the San Francisco 49ers making what could be a blockbuster move in the defensive backfield. According to insiders who prefer to stay behind the scenes, the 49ers have reportedly secured Jaire Alexander, one of the league's premier cornerbacks, in a move that could send seismic waves through the NFC West. If the rumors are to be believed, this isn't just a signing, it's a statement. A bold declaration that San Francisco intends to dominate opposing offenses from the very first snap. Sources close to the situation suggest the deal is structured to give the 49ers the flexibility and firepower to reshape their defensive identity. Alexander, known for his lockdown coverage, uncanny ability to read quarterbacks, and game-changing instincts, would instantly become the centerpiece of a unit already respected for its ferocity. Imagine pairing Alexander with San Francisco's aggressive pass rush. Quarterbacks might start considering avoiding Levi's Stadium altogether. The whispers suggest that this acquisition isn't merely about individual talent. It's about sending a message. The 49ers are no longer content with being contenders. They're gunning for absolute defensive supremacy. The chatter among analysts is that Alexander's leadership could also have an impact beyond the X's and O's. Sources claim he has the respect of teammates and opponents alike, bringing a level of intensity and focus that rubs off on the entire squad. Rumor has it that even veteran defenders have been rejuvenated by the possibility of learning from him. Fans are buzzing on social media, debating how this move could tip the balance of power in the NFC. Could this be the missing piece for a team that has flirted with greatness, but often stumbled in critical playoff moments? Of course, Nothing has been officially confirmed, but the rumor mill is relentless. If true, the 49ers have not just strengthened their defense, they have potentially redefined it. Across the league, rival teams are quietly reassessing their strategies, knowing that a cornerback of Alexander's caliber could turn any game into a chess match where the 49ers hold all the pieces. In a league that thrives on headlines and whispers, this particular rumor is one that refuses to die down. The question now is simple. Is San Francisco about to cement its status as the defensive juggernaut of the NFL, or is this just another tantalizing tease in the ever-evolving drama of professional football? Either way, the buzz is deafening, and all eyes are on Levi's Stadium. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.